We're here to announce the conclusion of Peyton's playing career with the Colts.
In life and in sports, we all know that nothing lasts forever.
The Dolphins are all in, and as you can tell, the hysteria in South Florida should be a pretty good hint.
I heard the Dolphins need a quarterback and Peyton is available.
Peyton Manning has a mile-high meeting with John Elway.
We've just gotten word that Manning has arrived in Denver.
And hot new video proof that Peyton Manning is indeed in Arizona. After meeting with the Cardinals, Manning is expected to fly to Miami to meet with the Dolphins, but that may be his last meeting.
The Tennessee Titans are in the Manning sweepstakes. Bud Adams told the Nashville Tennessean, quote, "He is the man I want, period."
The Titans are in position to go meet Peyton Manning somewhere.
The Dolphins will get their chance to land Peyton Manning. Joe Philbin will meet with Manning at an undisclosed location.
Dolphins head coach Joe Philbin met with Peyton in Indianapolis for nearly 6 hours.
They got their man, period. Coach Munchak roll up with Peyton Manning at about 2:34 local time. The Titans and Manning got their money's worth today. Mike Munchak and Peyton Manning came out 6.5 hours later.
Manning actually worked out with the 49ers on Tuesday with Niners coach Jim Harbaugh. The Denver brass arrived in North Carolina earlier in the afternoon. They are currently meeting with Manning and will eventually see him work out.
Another day, another workout for the former Colts quarterback. Today it was the Tennessee Titans watching him throw in Knoxville, Tennessee.
The wait is over. Peyton Manning has made a decision. He will continue his career this upcoming season with the Denver Broncos.
You guys got to send the Earth a fruit basket because they sent you John Elway, and now through their ignorance they're sending you Peyton Manning.
I like the move. I felt all along that it was going to be in the AFC, and obviously it came down to just the two teams, Tennessee or Denver. But I like the situation in Denver. We know they've got a good defense that played great down the stretch. He's going to take a lot of that pressure off. Good running game, although it's going to look different. But I like the pieces. They've got a couple young wide receivers on the outside. Be interested to see if they maybe add a couple of his own cohorts from Indianapolis to the mix. But I think there's a lot of good compliments there, and he automatically makes it better. You look at the AFC West, not a great conference. So I like the move. I like him staying in the AFC. I think it's good for the NFL.
What exactly happened to get him so keen on the Denver Broncos? Because I think you know and I know that if we lined up the rosters from 1 to 53, and certainly San Francisco's 53-man roster would be better, Tennessee's roster would be competitive, and a couple of teams that I don't think he even considered for 5 minutes, Seattle and Kansas City, who wanted him very much, I think they had a better roster than Denver, too. I mean, at least Kansas City did. And it's a little bit of a mystery, and that's why I think, at least right now as we sit here early on in this process, John Elway has just, at the corner poll, he's taking the lead in Executive of the Year.
Ripple effect that we talk about, the pebble, if you will, that Peyton Manning is. Like, he's the pebble, the NFL pond. Listen to what basically this entire process has already hit. Peyton Manning saying no to the Redskins led to that draft trade.
3 first-round picks.
Three first-round picks to the Rams. You also want to throw in some more ripple effects. The Browns were involved in that. We all heard Mike Holmgren
Same deal.
saying that we were competitive. People in Cleveland are going to be wondering just how competitive that was. The draft decision that's going to be made by the Browns based on the fact that they didn't trade up.
Right.
That could affect the Miami Dolphins, right, who want Tannehill because they didn't get Peyton Manning. They also didn't get Matt Flynn, who went to Seattle, who we found out from Jason Lock-and-Four sent a plane to Denver the first night that Peyton Manning was there. Peyton Manning didn't even meet with them.
All Peyton.
Yep.
This is all Peyton.
Yes.
The Sanchez extension. Yep. The Mark Sanchez extension, because Peyton said no to the Jets. Or, as Woody Johnson said, the Jets said they were moving on from Peyton Manning.
Right.
However you care to view that. Alex Smith, his mini free agency tour right now. All of that. Brady Quinn going to Kansas City, if you really want to just take this bubble even further. And the ripple effects that are being made from the draft.
The tsunami effect is really what it is.
Yeah. And where will Tebow land?
That's all, and where will Tim Tebow land?
That's the biggest drop. That's the biggest.
That's all based on the moment that the Colts decided to part ways. Yeah. So this whole concept of the Broncos being a better team, that's a no-brainer.
Definitely.
But a great
best
fit,
best in the division.
Easily
best
could
in the
be.
division.
Easily could be.
Kansas City
has
no quarterback,
has no shot.
I disagree with that.
Well, you can disagree all you want. The facts are they don't have any shot. I mean, it's fine. We'll see.
Listen,
they
there's
have
been
no
a lot
shot.
of turmoil for Matt Castle. The kid's proven he can play. When there's some stability in the kid's life, the kid plays well.
Look, yeah, I like the teammate, former teammate too. Great.
They are the
They got
best
no
already
shot.
in this division. Not because the Chargers don't have the personality or the talent to be, just because they don't have, let me call it the intestinal fortitude to be the best team in that division. Peyton Manning made this team the best team in the division.
I'm not convinced that they're the best team in the division. I'm convinced that they're going to be a force to be reckoned with because I believe the Chargers will be back.
Yeah.
And I believe because all bets are off there, everybody knows their jobs are on the line.
With what offense, though? Because I just saw Vincent Jackson. The Darren Sproles experiment didn't work out very good.
This league
This
has
boy,
always
that team's
been,
hurting for offense.
As long as Phillip Rivers is there, they're in good shape.
I
He had
hope
one
you're right.
bad year.
I hope you're right.
But I'm still going to back that pony there with Phillip Rivers.
Let's go here, though.
Yes.
You look at this schedule for what Peyton's going to be battling. Steelers, Texans, Saints, Buccaneers, a 10-win team from 2 years ago. Ravens, Bengals, Patriots, Falcons, Panthers.
First place schedule.
These are
what that is.
These are teams that you've got to score a bunch of points. And that leads me to this. You have to. And I mean, you have to. You know this well. You've got to get Jeff Saturday. You need player coaches. You do. I know their center has played 36 straight starts. They've been productive. But if you want to run Peyton Manning offense, communication is key. And so you've got Stokely there that you possibly want to re-sign. And I would even say Dallas Clark. You have to get pieces because it's the eye contact. It's the communication. Peyton Manning needs Jeff Saturday because Peyton Manning cannot teach this offense to the offensive line coach, the wide receiver coach, to the tight end coach. You've got to bring in pieces if you want success with this first place schedule and the amount of points that it's going to take. You think about a weak team there as your Panthers with 6 wins. Next year, Cam Newton, those backs, that offense, that defense, they get healthy. You're going to have to score, and I mean a buttload of points to beat these
Seven of their 10 of their non-divisional opponents made the playoffs last year. Now, normally in a playoff season, you get 5 new playoff teams each and every year.
Right.
But the ones that made the playoffs, it's tough to try and swap those out. Steelers, Saints, Patriots, Ravens, and then the teams that didn't make it that are on the schedule. The Buccaneers, you have to assume are going to be better, right?
So they spent a lot of money to get better.
Vincent Jackson will be back in Denver, Carolina.
Yes.
So all that stuff. And
Two butts though.
Okay.
Are they big butts?
Denver won the division. They just got to win the division first of all. That's the biggest.
They won the division on some tiebreaker that I would defy anybody with a slide rule to even figure out. But that's
part
what
of
they
it had
did.
to do with the run that they made to get themselves in position because they were not in position at all.
Correct.
And so if they're able to in that division do that, that's certainly a winnable situation for them. And then the other part of that is last I checked, Peyton's been playing these teams every year because he's been a 12-win team for 7 or 8 years in a row.
Oh, he is.
So that's
nothing new.
So
I mean,
Tom Moore and Howard Mudd and Jeff Saturday and Dallas Clark and Reggie
was
Wayne.
a common denominator.
Yes, very true.
Because he was a guy executing. He's the guy that's looking at the defenses, reading the defenses in real time, and making it happen.
How much did the Manning decision affect your timetable, Matt?
You know, I don't know how much it affected it. It definitely might have made it a little bit slower. You know, because it started Tuesday and I didn't take any trips till really Friday. So it might have made it take a few more days longer. But you know, it's one of those things you can't control. You just got to kind of sit back and you know, watch it kind of unfold and answer your phone when it rings. So.
Right, when it rings. And a lot of people thought you would be a natural fit in Miami because of who the new head coach is there. Why didn't it work out for you and Joe Philbin to have a new relationship in Miami together?
Well, I went down there, and I think a lot about Joe, and I think he's a great coach, and I think he's going to have a lot of success down there, and I think he's going to have a lot of success in the NFL. But when it came down to it, I just felt more comfortable up in Seattle. I felt like it was a better opportunity for me. You know, they have, I think, the second youngest team in the NFL, and a lot of hungry guys, and I felt like they were doing things the right way. And it really just kind of meshed when I went up there, and I feel comfortable about it. And I really think it's a team that, you know, in the very near future can be special, and you know, I'm excited to be a part of it.
Well, for me, if I'm the GM out there, I'm going to get Peyton Manning as many weapons as I can, both familiar and unfamiliar. You know, if he wants Jeff Saturday, let's go get him. You know, if that's the guy he wants to make him comfortable. The second thing I'm going to do is Mike Wallace, the wide receiver from Pittsburgh, is a restricted free agent, and he was tagged with a first-round tender. If I'm Denver, and Rich, they're drafting 25, so there's an inherent flaw a little bit in the compensation system for restricted free agents. If you're sitting at 25 in Denver, it doesn't cost you as much as if you're sitting at 8 like Miami to go get that free agent wide receiver. So for me, I would make an offer that Pittsburgh would have a lot of trouble matching for Mike Wallace. I think his stock, and I've been saying it for a couple of months now, his stock is as a top 10 pick. And his future is tied a little bit to the disposition of Alex Smith right now, I think. You know, with Alex Smith out there, if he goes to Miami, then that takes a potential draft pick away that would make a ton of sense because remember, Mike Sherman obviously is in Miami, Tannehill's college coach. Cleveland at number 4, they're making a lot of noises like they're not interested, but I've got to believe, as much as I like Colt McCoy, you want to upgrade that situation. And Tannehill, to me, is a year away, Rich. He's only got 19 starts, but he looks every part of the franchise quarterback. He's big, strong arm, really athletic. He just isn't ready yet. And you hate to have a top 10 pick on a quarterback that can't step in day one, but let's face it, that's what Tennessee did at 8 with Locker last year.
Guys, he's going to be 36 in a week. He's coming off a major injury. He is going to be in a brand new offense. What should we be expecting to see from Peyton next season, Mooch?
Well, if he's healthy, and let's all hope that he is healthy, we expect to see the old Peyton Manning, 36. Heck, I coached Steve Young when he was 38, 39, and he was pretty darn good. And, of course, Brett Favre played until he was 40. So Peyton Manning's got years left to play in this league. And I expect not only to see a Peyton Manning play like Peyton Manning, but that organization with all the salary cap room that they have to add some of his buddies. And it might be a Dallas Clark, it might be a Jeff Saturday, whoever it is, they're going to surround him with more weapons than they've had. They need to. They were just an 8-8 team in a real average division, the AFC West. Several teams were 8-8, but now all of a sudden with the cap room and adding Peyton Manning, they can become the dominating team in that division. I expect him to play very well.
I expect him to play his very best too, Mooch, for the simple reason football was taken away from him for a little while. I remember when I went out to Oakland, I tore my rotator cuff up and missed the last 6 games of a season. I remember the hunger in that summer. I couldn't wait to get back on the football field and show the world what I had. Came out, I had 10 sacks as a 34-year-old, so I expect the very best out of Peyton Manning this season coming up.
Michelle, what can you tell us about the way the team found out they were eliminated?
Well, I can tell you this. I mean, the Manning files are closed here, but it certainly wasn't an easy decision for Peyton Manning to make. A source very close to the situation told me that Manning had a very difficult time with this decision, that he felt the Titans were great and that he really hit it off with head coach Mike Munchak. So when he had to make that early morning phone call to Munchak, it was very hard for him. And not only did he call Munchak, he also, of course, informed by telephone Titans team owner Bud Adams, and afterwards Adams released an official statement saying, in part, "I want to thank the whole organization for their efforts in trying to sign Peyton and also to Peyton for the time that he put into the process. Peyton called me this morning to inform me of his decision, and obviously I am disappointed because I thought we would be a perfect fit. Now that we move forward, I want our fans to know that our expectations haven't changed. Winning a championship is still the goal. I also want to commend Matt Hasselbeck and Jake Locker. They were thrown into a very difficult situation."
Rank them. Rank the Broncos in the AFC now. Where are they? Where do you think?
I put them at 5.
Okay. So a playoff team.
Yeah, a playoff team. There was a playoff team last year. I just think they get about 2 games better. They won, 8 or 9 games. I have them winning 11 games, finishing 5th.
All right, so 8-8, they're a playoff team. They're still in the mixer. What do you think?
They're definitely a playoff team, but the thing that I want to know is how do you turn a mentality from inside, we talking about in the trenches, George, to a team that ran the ball 53% of the time to a team now with Peyton Manning that's going to throw it almost 58 to 60% of the time. That's a whole different mentality of the boys in the trenches, but I want to see them do it. That's going to be the biggest challenge for them. They're a playoff team, but they must turn themselves from a ball control run offense to Peyton Manning's finna run our show in the thin air of Denver.
Which is going to be a good thing. So now you actually get to use these wide receivers that you have. You have wide receivers out there that's not catching a whole lot of balls because of the situation they had out there with Tim Tebow. You knew you were going to run the ball. You know, they were going to have 11 men, 9, 10 men fronts they was going against all year. They were pounding the ball 45, 50 times. Tebow was maybe passing the ball 12 times at most a game. Now you go to a traditional offense. You have guys like a Peyton Manning that come back there and going to make the whole offensive line better. because his checks and stuff like that is going to free up the running game because of just what you know he can do with the ball when he has it. So you go from a pound offense to a traditional offense where you have a guy like Peyton Manning.
Get a little light. The man's get a little light.
But you know it's going to be more passing now.
I
It's
know.
going to be more passing.
But this team was built to run the ball is what I'm saying. And you have to change your mentality in the trenches. You know that just as I do.
You got to change your mentality in the trenches, but at the same time, this is a team that's going to be waiting to change their mentality because they can't wait to throw the ball just a little bit. Have an opportunity when you're behind 14 points in the fourth quarter. You have opportunity to come back now.
Some Bronco fans who took to Sports Talk Radio Monday to react.
I honestly didn't want him to come here. I think Tebow's our man and, just getting going, and I think we should keep him. But, it's going to be exciting watching the games. Denver's going to be crazy when the first game comes along. And, it's exciting to see that we actually have a big hitter coming to the Broncos.
It's an incredible sports story for the Broncos. It's great news for the city. At the same time, it's bittersweet. This city had a love affair with Tim Tebow. It's just short-lived, I guess.
Honestly, I'm concerned about the neck injury or what he's coming back from. I'm interested to see that first hit that he takes and see if he gets back up off the ground.
It's like bittersweet. I'm happy that we got Peyton because it's good for the Broncos and good for our team. But sad to see Tebow go because I'm a big Tebow fan. So it's good and bad.
I think they'll win a world championship this year because of it. So, and I hope Tebow stays. Hope he learns from Manning, and then we'll have a great backup quarterback and a good quarterback down the road.